Okay, so welcome everyone. Okay, got it. Good. Okay, so I came up here. Let's actually pull this out here. I came up with my little riddle that uh is going to be the solution to the wall sconch object. The wall sconce puzzle. Well, Heat March 26, and it's 8:16 p.m. and I'm back for a session. Control for binary sconces. Um, I've come up with a riddle that you should be that that should be fairly easy to figure out. For you to figure out. I'm no wordsmith, but quite, I'm quite proud of myself. And afterwards, you can tell me if I need to uh, tweak it or not. Okay, here we go. This is my riddle. Uh, okay, just a sec. Uh, in the stream. Okay, so, what did I say? Did I say first? No. Green patches of triples are the I'm gonna say is the first one in line. Um, Now, okay, so with luck, next one, uh, add one. Next, add one with luck makes it harder to find. Uh, let's see. I was gonna say next, but and then uh, it's not to find the answer. You see, um, I have this, but I have to think about this. Next, um, is placed in the past. Um, I had it, but now I lost it. Um, a place in the past is the trigger sentence, but another you'll see go a place in the past. Um, next, first, next, next answer you seek a place in the past. Next answer you seek in the past, and finally, you'll see the first become last. Um, no, next, but another one in is a place in the past, and finally you see that the first will be last, not become last. Another one is in a place in the past, and finally you see the first become last. That sounded good when I came up with it, but I see it a little weak. But tell me if you can figure out what I'm talking about. We'll see. Okay, so let's see let's see what happens here. I see where you're going with this. A solid attempt at poetic indirect cluing to the King's Quest vein in the King's Quest vein. Structures a nice rhythmic flow that could work well as a smugly written note or marginal doodle. I did puzzle it out after a couple of reads. You're including a binary configuration for sconces, uh, or torches levers, where the player pulls forward every third one. Wait, let's break down step by green patches of triples hints at groups of three triples. Green patches might evoke something like clovers or Lux symbols. More importantly, signals every third or patterns in threes is the first one line is the first one in line. The first sconce gets pulled forward, or is the first in the pattern. Next, add one with luck makes it harder to find. Add one that's lucky 7, or perhaps add one meaning shift by one. I think luck points to four-leaf clover, fourth position, or hard to find, hidden less obvious. Another one is a place in the past. Another one in is a place in the past. And as no, 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 no. Finally, you will see the first will be last. Pattern cycles reverses are honestly it's a bit weak cryptic as is. I got every third, 1, 3, something. No, but okay, clean 4 position. Okay, loose forced. Okay. Okay. So okay, I was thinking that here Here, let me give you an easier hint and see if it makes sense again. Let's not think of anything complicated. Just there's an order. Let me see. If I tell it to do there's an order to it, then it'll know that I mean certain numbers in a certain order. Let's see. What else could I do? There's an order to it. Does that let any light in? Okay, yes, that helps a ton. Immediately shifts my read from every third order pattern to a simple cyclic or reversal order. There's an order to it. The original lines now see pointing to rotation or wraparound. Not quite, but we'll see. First will be last pattern cycles. Pull forward on sconces 2, 3, and 4, or reverse 1, 2, and 3 with 4 last day. Okay. That's not it either. Probably because I'm not very good at riddles. But you're kind of getting closer. I can just go ahead and fill it, and maybe we can tweak it a bit to get it to what I was going for. It's normal to iterate, spill the beans. Okay. So the first line is green patches of triples. Green patches of triples is the first one in line. What comes in threes? What comes in threes? And it already knew it before, but went to clovers, 3-leaf clovers. Right. So the first one would be a reference to a 3-leaf clover. Green patches of triples, meaning there's many. So I wanted the player or Roland or you or whomever to think of 3-leaf clovers. Okay. So the next line is next add one with luck makes them harder to find. I don't know. I think I'm gonna say is harder to find. It not makes them harder to find. Makes it harder to find. Makes it harder to find. So can you now suss out the next line? Yes, green patches of triples, three-leaf clovers, common everywhere. Next, add one with light makes it harder to find. Add one leaf to make a four-leaf clover, rare, lucky, much harder to find. So the riddle, first two lines are establishing a progressive. Start with three leaves, then lucky, rare, four leaves. Second sconce. Strongly suggests the pattern is three, then four as the key numbers. Another one is a place in the past. Third and fourth sconces. How we continue numerical escalation reversal of my current read. You're building a sequence of numbers, 3, 4, right, across the four sconces where the player pulls four of the ones matching certain values, flips in a way that ties. Okay. I should have told it to, okay. The third line, another one is a place in the past, means something like no. Okay. So let's just go with the third line. Okay. Note another one. You can you're right. Third in the order. Another one is a place in the past. This one is a bit obscure. I'll admit. But everything you need is in the riddle. Given that, could you suss out the third one? Might have to think a bit laterally. That's not a bad thought, but that's not it. 3, 4, 1, 3. No. It's thinking though. It's fine. So admittedly, it's a little bit tough. Um, um, let's say it has nothing to do with ends. Does that shed any light? I'm just kind of curious. I mean, if it can't figure it out, now I know this creative thing is maybe the LLMs can't do creatively, right? So maybe Grok can't do it as well as a person could, right? A person could. Okay. Um, don't worry about the fourth one just yet. I'll give a bigger hint. Third one is a number. And of course, it's coming up with a number. It's coming up with 1, but that's not the number. Uh, 1 is another one, and in the past could mean earliest starting number. 2, another one in second place. 2 could be it. I mean, 2 is it, but okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and spill it. I don't know if that's the limitation of LMs or you in particular, or just me making something obscure. I don't really know how a real person would take it. Give me a quick second. Well, no, maybe I don't do that. I was gonna ask a person, but I don't think, I don't know. I don't know if I will or not. Okay, so the number is 2, and here is the reasoning. Another 1 in, which means the next place, or the third number. Is a place in the past. So, a place meaning subtract 1 to get second place, and that's the number. Spelling, it clears the fuck. Third line is aiming at 2 via lateral wordplay. Another 1 in, the next in sequence, is a place in the past, second place. Place, subtract 1 from... Well, no, but that's... Okay, before I spill the 4th one, that's not quite what I meant by a place in the past. So the place... So in the sequence, we're working in third place, or the third number. That's why I'd say another one in. A place in the past now could literally mean any number, but I was thinking that A could symbolize 1, because if I put 1 place in the past, that's a dead giveaway, which I might still have to do. So, a place in the past equals 1 place in the past. So, 3, going back to second place, 2 is the number, not the actual second place number. I have to probably tweak that maybe a little bit. Okay. A big clarification. Thanks for the... Another one in signals we're continuing the sequence of numbers. Another one ends next number. Place in the past, one place in the past. Using A as a standard for 1 to avoid being obvious. That puts the current number third in sequence back to second place, so the number is 2. The logic is middle positions retroactively applied. Okay. First line. Third place, 3-leaf clover. I never thought about this stupid metal thing, but hey, that works. Lucky outlier, harder to find. Yes. Back to second place, silver in the past as historical runner-up. Okay, sure, second place, silver. I get it. That's a consistent thread now. The riddle is assigning a metal place numbers. It's just place numbers. It's not metal anything. It's because there are 4 sconces. Okay. Ties the lines together thematically. Fits smuggler with weakness. The A single place. I wasn't thinking metals at all. However, that's an interesting observation. Okay, let's try the last one, which by now should be easy. It's a number, and you also need to think a bit laterally, but also it should be a bit easier. Let's see some here. And finally, um, you'll see the first will be last. Finally, you'll see the first will be last. Remember, keep in mind, this is also a number. Recapping the pattern so far from your intent. Line 1, 3, triples, 3-leaf clover. 2, 4, add 1 for luck, 4-leaf clover. 2, another one in third in sequence, placed in the past, back to second place, number 2. The fourth line, and finally you see the first will be last. It's a number, lateral will be easier. The obvious read here is 1. The first place, number 1, will be last, placed last in sequence. So the fourth sconce gets number 1, the first becomes last. So it gets the full sequence, 3, 4, 2, 1. Fits cleanly as a countdown or descending order, 3, 4, 2, 1, the first last swap landing on the 1 position. Exactly. The last one is 1. So first, which is usually first or 1, will be last, as in last place or last digit. Now, as far as the actual puzzle, instead of thinking in terms of binary, up and down, etc., and so forth, just a simple, it's a simple order that you pull on the wall sconces. That being said, it will need some sort of reset. If I choose to use this. Okay. Got it. Now the full picture list. Intended numbers for the riddle lines 3, 4, 2, and 1. Sequence is 3, 4, 2, and 1. Since you're pivoting away from binary states, final conveying and going into order, pulling the sequence of actions that maps cleanly. Pull sconce. Now, pull sconce number 3 first. Okay, let's bounce the 3. Error pulling is more interactive fun than static config for sconces. Reset is essential. Players will mess up order often. Riddle obscurity level still high. Need one extra nudge. Yes. Um, I'll I might tweak it, but it will take a little thought. So, if you look at the 4 sconces in order, I might do a thought. Um, as in 1, 2, 3, and 4, what you will have to do is pull the 3rd sconce first, then pull the 4th sconce second, then pull the 2nd sconce third, and finally pull the 1st sconce. Got it clean. Okay. The sconces are numbered left to right, 1 to 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. The riddle sequence is 3, 4, 2, 1. It translates directly to pull order. Pull 3 first, pull 4 second, pull second third, pull first last. Pull number 1 last. Okay, right. That gives a nice countdown with a twist feel once the player assembles the numbers from the lines. First will be last lands perfectly as pulling sconce number 1, the first one at the very end. The future phases implementation-wise, click order tracking is straightforward and reset could be automatic. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Automatic reset would work whenever you pull the wrong sequence. The wrong one. Wrong sequence. Player friendly choice. If I can, okay. I might, I'll still think about tweaking line number 3, but I also had a thought. What if there were 8 sconces? And no, you don't have to and I added a 5th line that somehow hinted you had to reverse the order for the other side. It makes it look more complicated, but if I do the line correctly, it won't be that much harder. Eight sconces plus 5th line handling reverse the order for the other side could work elegantly if the line lands cleanly. Feels more substantial, smuggler, clever, 2 mirrored sides like a proper gate mechanism. 8 sconces is 8, but you're likely splitting it. Pull 4 on the left, and then 4 on the right in reverse, with whatever mirrors your logic. Trial and error stays feasible if partial feedback exists. Left side hums and glows when correct. Right side only activates after left. Add symmetry and visual interest. 2 panels, 4 sconces each. Complexity creeps up. Players might miss the other side trigger entirely if the hint is too subtle. Page count for phase 1. Well, it's not going to. It's just he's gonna pick the correct one. He's gonna pick the wrong order. Riddle length, 5 line wrist, filling line wind and less rhythmic. Three, four, two, one, 1, 2, 4, 3. I'll think about it. Give me a few minutes. I want to ask a couple of more chat bots if they can interpret the riddle. This would actually be a good test for AIs to try to solve riddles they weren't trained on. Although most frontier models trained on a ton of internet data, probably tons of riddles in there. Take your time. It's actually a decent bet. Smart frontier model cracks it quickly without hints. Probably too obvious common pattern. If it struggles with even full text, good sign the lateral leap is genuine, obscure but fair. If you get stuck on a place in the past forever, might be worth a small nudge in reading. Okay. Let's go to ChatGPT uh, and see what that entails here. Uh, um, as a quick question, if I ask another chatbot solve this, um, what information could I get give it first? It doesn't know anything about my game. Well, that GPT knows something. Um, so I tell it that it's an order. Do do I say they're wall sconces or levers, or what kind of information can I give that doesn't entirely give it away, but it's enough for them to be able to solve it? Here's a balanced way to present the riddle to another chat bar. Human without spoiling the solve, given enough context for a fair shot, minimal version, fairy test. It's a puzzle from fantasy adventure game. The solution is a sequence of 4 numbers that will tell you the order to pull for wild sconces. Alpha version, but not still. 4 numbers in sequence that correspond. Here's the forward. Hmm. So if I just bring it down to generics, we'll say there's a puzzle involving 4 levers to open a door, and there's a riddle help you solve it. I mean, is that too obscure? Because telling them it needs to be a certain order and it's a sequence may be too much information. puzzle involving 4 levers open door. It's perfectly balanced for a fair test. It's enough context so they don't assume binary states, mental places, or buffers out of nowhere. But it doesn't spoon feed the sequence mechanic. Most models humans will still have to work to solve, especially line 3. That's the point of the test. Okay. Let's go over here. Okay, I've come up with a riddle to solve the cont puzzle. I've already asked Grok to solve it, and it had trouble a bit. So I'm going to give you the riddle, ask you to solve it, and see if it trips you up where it tripped Grok up. Give me the riddle. Um, yeah. Green patches of triples is the first one line. Next, add one with luck, makes it harder to find. Another one in is a place in the past. And finally, you'll see the first will be last. Copy and paste. Okay, please do. It stopped because maybe the conversation got too long again for it. Or is it step by step like the player encountering it? Clover, shamrocks, triples, and forces 3-leaf clovers. That suggests like Irish 3-leaf symbol. So the first clue likely refers to the clover shamrock symbol. The first one might be the clover triple leaf symbol, second one line. Next, add one with luck makes it harder to find. That one's trickier. Add one could apply 4 instead of 3 at 4-leaf clover. Famously lucky, harder to find. So the clue might mean 3-leaf clover. The next one's 4-leaf clover. Second symbol of 4 leaves. Luck symbol. Okay, that's fine. It's kind of interesting that it's doing the same thing that Grok did. So it's no, maybe it's not because it's well, it kind of is though. Another one is a place in the past. It's the line where the reasoning was left out if it's possible to could mean history, ancient ruins, old hall, but the pattern continues. 3, 4, it may be 5, but in place in the past could also mean history, memory, museum. Line is ambiguous without context. So it did fail that. Finally, you see the first will be last. First element moves to the end. ABC becomes BCA. Requires reordering. Rotate the first to the end. Okay. Number 3, though, it got wrong. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's still uh it's still the it's it's the thing that trips. Okay, to make it a bit easier before I tell you the answer, there is an order to the wall sconces. They're essentially levers. They're essentially levers. You have to think laterally a little bit, but everything you need to know is in riddle. Have a fixed order like levers, and that the answer is entirely inside the riddle. I'll deliberately reset my earlier assumptions and read it again more mechanically. The key is triples 3. Okay, so the first lever reference is number 3. Okay, next add one with like makes it harder to find. Add 1 to the previous number, 4. So the like reference again forces 4-leaf clover. So the second lever is 4. Another one in is a place in the past. Here's the tricky one. Another one in applies add 1. Now the phrase a place in the past can be hit something like history ruins, but more simply the past is history. So the line might be confirm the next step in the sequence, not giving a new concept. Yeah. Nope. But it is still giving me the impression that maybe I need to fix that line a bit. Okay, so think about um, let me ask you this. Did I mention how many wall sconces or levers there were? So I might have to do a thing where I set up the whole riddle. Hmm. Actually, important when I try to solve them, plus they assume 5. One more interesting clue. That's. I guess I'm wrong about doing that. Okay, there are 4. That might. That might have helped drop. So maybe I'll ask another chat bot and tell them there are 4 levers. Levers. So this is very interesting as far as coming up with the design. Actually tries to derive numbers from the clues, which leads down 3, 4, 5 paths doesn't actually exist if there are only 4 levers. 4 fixed levers, solvers should be thinking the rules describe which lever positions to pull, the order of the 4, or a rearrangement of bottom of the first and last. Given other chatbot constraint, there are 4 levels will likely prevent the same misinterpretation I had. Also confirms something useful about riddle design. The puzzle currently depends on knowledge of the riddle. The riddle itself doesn't state. That's not necessarily bad. Many adventure games rely on environment context, but it doesn't mean solvers will try to invent numbers if the system isn't clear. Your test with other models is actually a great way to stress test the puzzle. If several AIs or players trip to the same place, it's a signal about where the riddle might see a tiny adjustment. Okay, so you got the first 2 correctly. So green patches of triples is the first one in line. Meaning the first number is going to be 3. And you were right. 3 leaf clovers are in patches. So patches of 3 leaf clovers extrapolate number 3. Okay. Then you're also right with what add one more makes it harder to find. It's hard to find 4 leaf clovers as they are rare. Be lucky 4 leaf clover. So the next one, so the is indeed 4. Okay, so here's what is here's where my riddle is being a bit loose. So can you since there are 4 levers total, that means the remaining possibilities are 1 and 2. So the third one, another one in, is a place in the past. Where the literal leap has to happen right now. If I try to solve it as written, I'm not seeing a clean bridge from that phrase to either 1 or 2. The solver might think of history. None of those naturally translate to 1 or 2. So the puzzle solver's left wondering, is that another arithmetic step? Is it symbolic? No, it shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that the first becomes last. Okay. Okay. So the third line states. Okay. Before oh, before giving you the answer, let me say this first. Another one in. If you think of part of each line Let me try to give you a part of each of the first 3 lines. See if that helps anything. The first one in line, right? With the first one in line. Next, add one with luck, makes it harder to find. And next, then another one in. Part of each. Let's see, part of each line. Let me try to give you part of each line and see if that helps anything. Another one in. Finally. And finally you'll see is a place in the past. And finally you'll see the first. And finally, dot. Does that suggest anything? The riddle should be interpreted. Phrase the first one in line, next another one, and finally imply you're building the sequence step by step, not describing independent clues. The structure of the determine the first position, determine the second position, determine the third, and then apply final transformation. That's fourth position though. 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. No. I don't know where it's getting this modify the sequence thing though. Or um okay, so you're right. It's a sequence. So you pull one lever, you pull. You're right. It's a sequence. So line 3 is just the third in sequence. However, a place in the past could more explicitly be stated when place in the past. If I changed A to 1 to 1, what does that suggest? Wow. I need to totally, like, modify that. Didn't logic much clearer. It also gives it away, though. Another one in is one place in the past. Nope. Okay. Um, you still didn't get it, which means it's still a problem. But you were right. One place. Okay. Place in the past. So, one place in the past. So that means you're backing up one place or one in the sequence to two. Place um, place number 2. That could be misinterpreted, but place number 2. So you're in third place, not thinking of a race, but in literally the in the third digit. So you subtract 1 from 3, you get 2. Since 2 and 1 are the only numbers left, then you can't use anything else. I thought I had something good, but then again, these are LLMs, so I'm not sure if that translates. Make sure I understand the mechanism. 3, next add 1 makes 4. Another one in is a place in the past. One place in the past, go back 1 position. We're currently at third place in the sequence. Move back 1, 2. So the things goes 3, 4, 2. And finally, the first will be last. No. Okay. The remaining unused number is 1. The final order becomes 1. The tricky part is the reasoning step. One place in the past, move back 1 position. That requires the solver to realize place refers to position in the sequence. In the past means move backward and refers to the current sequence position, not the numbers themselves. That's a pretty subtle lateral leap, so it makes sense that 2 different AIs stalled there. Your instinct about that line is correct. Right now, the middle riddle expects the player to interpret place as equals position in the sequence. But the earlier line used place metaphorically clever, so the brain expects another object clue, not a sequence manipulation instruction. That mismatch is what causes stumble. That's actually a good explanation, though. So that's giving me that whole rotate first to last. Uh, oh, hold on. Where is string boot? Okay. Uh, I don't know where that came from. The last line is pretty obvious. Obvious. That is assuming you got the correct third one in the sequence. And finally, you'll see the first will be last. First is 1. First is first. In other words, 1. And 1 is in last place. So you pull lever 1 last. Yeah, it makes perfect sense now. Thanks for clarifying. Last line isn't rotation, it's literally telling you that the lever 1 goes last. The rest of the sequence is determined in the first 3 clues. So step by step with the 4 levers. Green patches, triples, the first one in line. 3 leaf clovers. Next, add 1 with luck, makes it harder to find 4 leaf clover. Add another one. Another one in is 1 place in the past. Second, the 3rd lever -1, so position 2. And finally, you'll see that the first will be last. When lever 1 goes last. Final order 3, 4, 2, 1. That clears up the confusion about the rotate first last. I was just misread on my part. The riddle is essentially using lateral reasoning on positions rather than any sequence rotation. But I can also produce a tiny tweak of the 3rd line 1 place in the past to make it slightly clearer without giving away the answer. You can suggest one. I might completely change that line. Like you said, someone will expect some sort of object comparison. So something probably in pairs, as long as I can get it to rhyme with last. Although the last line isn't that kind of comparison. It's just to cap off the riddle and the only number left. Oops. So I don't need to change that one. To compare it as a subtle object hint. Option 3, 11 line before it's cast. 4. So like cue position sequence while keeping the rhyme and rhythm consistent. So I have to think of, maybe I'll have to think of what rhymes with last cast is a good one, but something that comes in twos. And it really could be a pair of anything. Yeah, well, okay. Okay, let's copy this again. Let's talk to Brave Leo. Need a riddle solved. Okay. There. It's in context of my game, there are 4 levers to pull. And this is the riddle that should help you solve it. Keep in mind that everything you need to know is in the riddle. Sequence puzzles involving 4 levers, where the correct order must be deduced from the clues. And by line breakdown. Green patches of triples, the first one in line. 3 green patches, something grouped in threes. First one. Okay. That's actually funny. You didn't actually make the leap. Okay. Place in the basket where history, archaeology, or name location. So leave relabel past or one that was previously used. And finally, you see the first will be last. True. Okay. Interpret the riddle as given the order to pull. The first pull becomes last in effect. Then the intended activation orders then reverse. Based on the clues. Position 3. Every 2 lot 7, but only 4 levels. Best interpretation. It riddle says green patches of triples is the first one in line, so only you see that the first will be last. So the first pull becomes last that part. And this is not doing it well at all. Of course, I don't expect Leo really to be that advanced. Uh, 3, 4, 1. Wait, the riddle says. I said one second. Oh man, it totally is. It's just I guess I don't really expect it to be that great either though. But huh. It's the third one that really chips you up though. So okay, 4, 2, 1, 3. Add one lever 4 with luck. 3, 4, 1, 2. Close, but not close enough. Unless first line means you pull it first, and will be last means it ends up last. So the system reverses. Interesting. First in line. 4, 1, 2, 3. Hopefully not it, but I don't blame you for it. I was gonna try to. Ooh. 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me try this, and I realize what the problem line is. It happens to be line 3 that really trips up. But let's just look at part of the lines. First one in line. Next. Next. Another an in, and first will be last. Does that suggest anything? Oh, that, okay. Wait. Sorry, wrong part. The last line part is finally. So, first one in line. Next. Another one in. And finally. Okay, sequence markers. First one in line, next, another one in, finally. Indicate chronological order of actions. Okay. Describe the pulling order. Pull the triples lever, the left lever, the pass lever, and the finally clause, the meta clue. The system reverses thing. I don't get why they always think it's the meta clue. I don't get why AI chatbots think that last one is some weird reversal. It's simply the last position. So finally means finally in order. Okay. So secondly is you need to derive numbers, 4 numbers, one number from each line. Can you try that? Right. Finally simply means last in sequence and not reversal, and each line gives one number. The exact one number from each line, green patches of triples. 4, 1 is 5 placed in the past. Second ago 2, okay. Another 1 in, so 4, 5. Okay. 3, 4, 2, 1, 2. Okay. 3, yes. 4, yes. 2, 1. Okay. You got most of it, but the third number is wrong. Okay, here's the logic. So green patches of triples. What comes in patches and in triples that happens to be green? Lawn moss? Wow. Triples, clovers, 3 leaves, green, grow in patches. 4-leaf clovers are lucky. Add 1 with luck. Add 1 leaf to a clover, 4-leaf clover. So, green patches of triples, 3-leaf clovers. Add 1 with luck, add 1 leaf, 4-leaf clover. 4. A place in the past. Okay, so 3, 4, 2, 1. Let's see what it comes. But I guess let's go all the way down. Just I don't care about the reasoning because it's getting the reasoning. It's 3, 4, 2, 1. Okay, this is where they all get up. Okay. You're right about the 3-leaf clover. Common come in patches. Okay, so 3 is correct. Then add 1 to that. You get 4-leaf clover. With luck is the 4-leaf clover. And they are harder to find than 3-leaf ones. So those are correct. 3 and 4. Now, I understand that line 3 is trickier because the first 2 had object comparisons. So I said 3-leaf clover and 4-leaf clover respectively. And I didn't realize I changed how I hinted at the last 2 numbers. So place number 3 is okay. So another 1 in is the 3rd place in the sequence. Is a place in the past. So I told you that all you needed to know was in the riddle. So you didn't need to talk about Rome or something ancient or whatever. So, just thinking of line 3, what would a place in the past mean? Given you only need what's in the riddle to derive the next number. That's a good. History sounds like history, so no, but no number. The simplest. So another one in only refers to the next in the sequence. First, first in line equals first in sequence. Okay. Next simply means the next or second in the sequence. Another one in simply means the third in sequence. And finally means the last in sequence. Okay? That's all those parts mean. So the trick is still a place in the past. Could be restated as one place in the past. Would that clue you in any? Okay. That's, I now realize that's a logical conclusion since I did that with the first two lines. Triples equals 3, add 1 equals 4, and a place in the past for one place in the past would logically need 1. However, we do have the number 1, but it says in the past. So what would that mean? Think of each line as places or digits. First place, places, but not as in running. So first place or first digit, second place or second digit, third place or third digit, and fourth place or fourth digit. So now what would a place in the past mean? And that's the thing, that's the trippy part that's messed up, so I have to change it, I guess. First place, digit 3, second place, digit 4. Another one in third place. It's place in the past, digit that belongs in third. No. Well, I'll give you the answer directly. It's 2, because third place, or third digit, is actually one place in the past, so you go back one place to second place, which means the second digit is actually 2. So it goes 3, 4, 2, and you can deduce the last one, but it even states the first will be last. So first place is the last digit, or 1. Okay. No, it doesn't. We have second digit 4. It's still getting tripped up because the whole thing. Okay. And 4. 3, 4, 2, 1 is the correct sequence. The first place will be last, i.e. last position is 1. Okay, so I have some more work to do. ChatGPT did what you did up on third one. Brave Leo got everything completely wrong. But ChatGPT did say something that gave me a clue as to what tripped you up. The first 2 clues are object clues. The last 2 are simply basement. So you couldn't use the same logic for those 2. It just so happens that the last one is pretty easy, but even that, you thought it meant a reversal or something, which means the problem is still that I didn't use object hints for those two. Okay. Yes. Thanks. I mean, it couldn't even just pull anything up. Anyways. Going off the rails completely, as consistency is telling. Your clue helps a lot. First two lines are object clues, tangible things that point to numbers via. Last two are pure placement clues. Shift in logic is the core trip, but once you lock that in, the riddle snaps into different gear. For line 3, signals the third slot in the sequence. Place in the past means second place as runner-up, silver, scroll. So third slot gets 2, second place. Yeah. Line 4, finally see the first would be last. First slot gets first. I like it's Grok's logic though. It's talking about metals. Like if you got the metals like you know gold, silver, bronze. But I don't know if you get a fourth one because they don't traditionally have four metals. That's why I felt reversal-ish to me without the object placement divide. The divide is clever and thematic, but the shift is abrupt enough that players often try to force object logic on the back half. Uh, that's an interesting thought, though. I mean, they completely have to shift the completely have to shift the whole riddle. Yeah, honestly, I wasn't thinking metals at all. That's an interesting observation. If I was using the metals as hints, I might have to include gold, silver, and bronze, and for last place, no metal. It might be interesting, but it's kind of out of the I don't know, purview is the right word. Purview. How do you spell purview? Doesn't either. Perv. Not perv. No. Purview. Wait a minute. It's gonna say preview. It's not preview either. Purview. Okay. Of the game. Or a natural but off-track interpretation could call it steer clear if it doesn't fit the game's tone or lore. Pressing gold, silver, no metal for last would add extra thematic baggage that might clash with the smuggler door known by the object placement shift is still a real hurdle. First few lines give concrete things, clovers. Um, I just have to first think of things in pairs. Think. No, 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 no. Since I use threes for three leaf clover and for four leaf clover. Um, what comes in a pair that I could use? It doesn't have to be plants or flowers, but what kinds of things come in pairs? Bookends. Bookends is probably a good one. Fit some eyes, ears, hands, feet, shoes, gloves, socks. That's an interesting thing. Four eyes. Wheels, doors, gates, lungs, kidneys, twins, bookends, salt and pepper, knife and fork, dice. Hmm. I have to completely think of something different, which kind of sucks because now I'm not getting anything done tonight again. And does it make does having both first two lines refer to clovers? Um, make the rest unbalanced if they're not also about clovers, or if they're not either. if the last two don't refer to the same object, or um, or something. I don't know. Now I'm getting too late. Now I'm getting sleepy. Both point both pointed clovers creates a certain thematic imbalance compared to the last two. Leaves of 3, let it be. Okay, that's 3 leaf, 4 leaf. So what kinds of things only come in either pairs or singles? Um, you gave me 2 lists, pairs and singles. Is there anything that can come either in pairs or in singles? Damn the cons. Shoes don't go in singles. I mean, you can lose one, but that isn't the same thing. Eyeglasses and monocles, that would work. Socks, no. Earrings. Oh, he's in pairs, but a single earring is common. Pairs for wearing. Okay. Most of these pairs don't typically come in singles. You don't buy one boot or one shoe. You buy a pair of shoes. Yes, you can lose one, but typically it's just a lost one of a pair. Where I could possibly be flexible is on something like a pair of socks, and I can reference losing a sock. But I'll have to come up with a new rhyme. Most classic pair items are sold in twos by default. Singles are exceptions, lost, damage, mismatched, and that makes them weaker for cling comes in pairs, line, and riddle. Everybody knows the orphan sock trope. It's relatable, humorous. Hmm. Let's see. I can still say another one in replacement. Uh, let's see. Green patches of triples. The first one in line. Look like add one with luck makes it harder to find. Um, a good pair of stockings is another one in. Okay, first one in line. Next. Third one in time. Uh, I'm kind of stuck, I guess. Has there ever been any so we tend to lose socks in the dryer. Did anyone before a dryer was invented ever lose a single sock in a pair? It's kind of interesting, yeah. As long as socks have been a thing. Spell the wash basket float away, hang on, dry lines. Lost in the wash trope is ancient. Um, so we can do a thing sort of like the clovers, where the last two lines both refer to socks. Pair of socks warm on your feet. So line 3 would refer to a pair of socks, and line 4 would refer to one sock being lost. That's a strong way to restore balance. First half structure with socks as the unifying object for lines 3 to 4. Line 1 and 2 covers socks pair single. Okay. Let's see. Pair of socks, pair of socks, pair of socks. Huh. Pair of socks. Let me see. My audio is still on. It is. Yes. Okay, good. Um. Another one in is the socks on your feet. Yeah, wash. Wash, wash. I thought I did, but apparently I did not. Um, I don't know if I'm just gonna sit here until I fall asleep or something. I'm trying to think. Hmm. True love, one true love. Hmm. What rhymes? Love, glove, above. Yeah. 3421, 3421, 3421. I'm gonna do something real quick. I want to leave this covered while I think for a second. It's easier putting a cover on it rather than because I'm standing up and I don't want to show you my room as much. Um, Let me think for a moment. Kings or two queens or two jacks. Make a pair. Should they all be different? Should the each two lines be the same kind? Uh, should they all four refer to the same objects or same kinds of objects? To make the riddle feel more elegant and less like two separate ideas glued together. Pairs of the same kind. Good symmetry mirrors the add one, subtract one. Shift is clear. For a completely different object, weakest cohesion, it risks arbitrary. I've seen a lot of adventure game puzzles with either all or one family or two paired families. Three of a kind. Let's think about poker moment. I don't know if that'd work either. Are there winning poker hands with only three cards? Probably depends on what you're playing, yes. There are winning three card hands, but not standard five card poker like Texas Hold'em or draw poker. There are three main places where three card poker hands are real and ranked casino game. Uh, three of a kind. They're brag. Hmm. Poker favorite. I was just thinking of the same kind of riddle. For the digits 3, 4, 2, 1. Could refer to poker hands. Well, one might be something to do with an ace. Okay. Rogue's lucky hand, triple threat, flush of fortune, pair of regrets, ace in the hole last. What is a flush? I don't know poker hands, so I'd have to ask. Flush the hand where all 5 cards are of the same suit, right? So it makes it different from a straight flush. A royal flush, straight flush, 4 of a kind, full house, flush, straight, 3 of a kind, 2 pair, 1 pair, high card. So if the flush beats a straight but loses to a full house or better, 3 card poker. Flush is also valid hand. Suits 4 card flush. So if flush, 5 card poker. Flush, 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 flush. Three of a kind is the first one in line. Flush, flush. Oh. Still thinking in terms of the grouping of some object or objects gives you the actual number. Uh, I've just been pacing back and forth trying to think of things for stupid uh riddle. Trying to think of whatever. Since that riddle isn't any good, now I can't come up with anything really. I could sleep on it, I guess. Um, I'm still interested in doing something like the underworld door puzzle. Um, and granted, they were letters, but the riddle described shape, described the letters. Um, let's see, underworld door riddle in King's Left 6. So foremost legally is L. It's the first letter. Second circles relate is the shape of an O. The third leads all in victory. i.e. V victory leads all probably partly refers to the leading letter, which is B. The fourth twice ends a nominee E. Two E's at the end. So I'm still leaning to thinking that's something that somehow describes the numbers enough for you to pick up on it. Each line describes one letter, be a wordplay, position, shape, symbol, the whole spell is a code word. Your sconce puzzle, 3, 4, 2, and 1, you want a similar structure, 4 lines, each describing one number via lateral, poetic, or wordplay based on clues. The two players can assemble 3, 4, 2, 1 without trial and error dominating. The challenge is making the description feel natural and connected, not 4 random riddles, while avoiding the abrupt shift you noted in your clover placement attempt. Balance these questions to help you refine. Do you want 4 lines to all describe the numbers? Same style, all shape based, all wordplay, association for second references, all object groupings like clovers, or you want 2 pairs. Should the riddle itself hint that it's 4 numbers? Holes order to pull, or stay completely implicit. Uh, Knock it around for how well. Okay. I don't know. Should probably just go ahead and go to bed, probably. Wars. What either comes in quarters or fours? Things that commonly come in quarters are groups of 4 riddle friendly quarters. 4 quarters equals dollar. Seasons. Cardinal directions. Winds. Suits. Elements. Um, Okay. Quarters of a pie. Hey, wherever they are. Hmm. Um, what? Let's try that. Hmm. Okay. Agents thinking. No response. Oh, that's great. What's this? No response. Jazz. One of the chat, the other bot or me hit token context limit, and the reply cut off mid thought. System glitch timed out. Hmm. No, that's okay. It's still considering. Could be words. Try words. Words that have four of the same letter, three of the same letter, two of the same letter, and just curious. How many words? Hmm. How many words are there with four of the same letter? I should be thinking of the threes, but I'm thinking of the fours for some reason. Voodoo, voodoo, boo boo. TP. Four eyes, pure, but examples like four S's and four eyes, Mississippi. Riff raff. Huh. Aquafo. No. Does it need to be consecutive? I could do something where they would have to count the number of certain letters. For instance, three, three, three E's, four A's, two B's, and one C, or something. Okay, letters emerge from phrases. Classic riddle technique is perfectly viable for your second puzzle if you want. Sign describes one number setup. Three. Beetle. Three is only two E's. Three has only two E's. Let's see. That's words are thematically linked. Players have to guess the word first, then count the letter. No, but three. Three graces, three musketeers, three leaf clovers, primary colors, traffic lights, Olympic medals, fairy tale trios. Huh. First has in common goes bear, goats, bears, and pigs. Um, the Big. Tig. Hmm. 3 primary taste, 3 dimensions. Dimensions. Uh, bears, goats, or pigs. And 4 of them. Hmm. Well, if I could find something that rhymes with bears, goats, or pigs, um, but is somehow hmm, I think I'll have to quit here soon. I could do something where you figure out what's in common with for items, and then rhyme it with the next. Trait share list of items in one line or couplet. Then rhyme it with the next line's items trait to build toward the number sequence like a chain riddle. Property chain riddles. What goes next line rhymes or connects. String progress reveal player spot straight A rhymes clues traits B builds the full sequence. The common trait is too vague. It feels disconnected. The rhymes force it breaks immersion. Pigs. But I need something that rhymes with pigs that has to do with four. Fine. That's a fairy tale. Digs, figs, gigs, jigs, rigs, twigs, big sprig, swig. Figs. Uh, saying four of a kind uh makes that number kind of obvious. Because it says the first line involving bears, goats, and pigs don't say bear three, but when you look for the what word am I looking for? Hmm. Uh, they have three in common. The first line of English, but they do have it's talking about the three bears or the three billy goats. Gruff or three bears or three bears. Or it was way too on the nose. It literally hands the player the board instead of making them infer it in the way the first line makes them infer three from Fairy Tale Trios. The first line works because it names the items without saying three anywhere. Pairs to connect the dots to the famous stories to keep the riddle fair and consistent. The second line needs the same indirectness. Name things that come in fours, rhyme with pigs, or close enough that let the player make the leap to four. Indirect four groupings that rhyme is fit. Cart wagon, four sturdy rigs, four changing figs, four guiding winds, four distant brigs, four hidden rigs. No, but fairy tale fours. No, fours, fours, four wins. Four cardinal directions. Is how about rhyming with bears or goats? Bears, chairs, bears. Rhyming bears or goats opens up clear options for second line while keeping the fair. Cares, hairs, layers, pairs, prayers, shares, squares, stairs, where's in the years. Okay. Boats, coats, floats, moats, notes, boats, quarter note, quarter. We don't want the word for in there. That's the point. They need to infer the number from the text. Four sides to a box. Um, 16 already. I'm gonna have to quit this in just a second here. Sides to a box. Box, box, docks. Oh, four wins, yeah. Sales of boats. Boats, 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 boats. First count. First comes the pigs, the bears, and the goats. Uh, Next comes the winds. Push all of your boats, but the winds might be too obscure. Yeah, decent change. First line clearly evokes classic trios. Coast. Next come the winds from every coast. Uh, To do with 4/4 notes, but again, that says 4 right in the line. Quarter notes exactly says 4/4. Thanks for beats. Images are sweet. Next fills a bar with 4 equal beats. No. Next is a bar with 4/4 notes. Okay, no, that's 4/4 notes. No, not 4/4 notes. Next is a bar. Notes. Next comes a bar full of 4/4. Four. The rhythm, full measures chime. Next beats in common time gigs. Next fills a bar with equal shares. Equal shares can be equal, can be anything though. Beats. Next is a staff full of murder notes. I don't mind murder itself being there. That's only 1/4. Staff full of murder notes should equate to 4, but it sounds a bit obscure as well. It's a nice musical parallel. The Clover added 1 progression staff full of quarter notes evokes 4/4 time signature, 4 beats per measure. Quarter notes as the beat unit. It's obscure but fair in a fantasy tavern and smuggler context, especially for where the world has any bardic minstrel flavor. Indirect doesn't say for outright. Quarter infers from quarter notes full. Thematic fit. Music as a smuggler. Rhyme potential notes, bears and goats, boats, coats, etc. Quarter notes might be too niche. Some players know music theory, others don't. Staff full is vague. If it has 4 notes in a measure, there's a full staff packed could confuse. Four beats in a bar. Sweet blow down. Four sides to a box. 4 legs on a chair or table. Hmm. 4 sides in a box. Boats. Chairs. 4/4 shares. A pie with full quarter shares. Little bit of a stretch there too. Full quarter shares is a solid indirect way to point to 4. Everyone knows a pie is cut into quarters, and a full quarter share invokes dividing the whole into 4 equal parts without saying 4 outright. It's a stretch in the sense that not only as iconic, it's not as iconic as fairy tale trios, but it's relatable and visual. As far as get quarters equals 4, once they think of it, pie slices. Prose ties nicely to common things. Food theme could fit tavern, smuggler, stolen pie, shared loot. Rhyme potential high. At least I have punch and clovers or bears, goats or pigs. Pies aren't famously quartered in stories the way trios are. Next is the pie. Shares. Size. Sides of a square. Next. Toppings equal at the sides of a square. That's a little stretching in a way. The clean, indirect way to point to 4 evokes equality plus 4ness without ever saying 4. All things being equal hints at symmetry equality, like the sides of a square. Lends the visual of 4 identical sides. Players who see square will almost immediately think of 4 sides. Iconic universal stretch. Pairs nicely with the first line. You should realize that I'm rhyming bears or bear and square. First one involves pigs, goats, and bears. This, uh, next, all things next, all things being equal, the sides of a square. Sides of squares are workable near rhyme. Bears square and keeps the inference indirect. Clearly leads 3, the second leads to 4. There's some like very even, same on every side. Shares. Um, um, that seems to work well for me. Bears versus square. Um, could modify a bit and say next uh the sides of all squares. All things being equal, like the slight modification. First one involves pigs, goats, bears, and all things being equal, like outside, like force like the sides of all squares. The third one involves Uh, Fairy tale trio, size of all squares. Every square has four equal sides. Four all squares, bears, squares. It's still a slant rhyme, but it works in spoken rhythm. What does it mean, slant rhyme? The sides of a square, or sides of square. No, it wouldn't be sides of squares. It's meant to be. It's meant to be funny, sort of. The first one involves pigs, goats, and bears. Then all things being equal, like the sides of all squares. If you're thinking of um, I don't know what you mean by slant rhyme. What is slant rhyme? Near rhyme? No. Well, bears and squares are rhymes. Bears and square. Yes, that's why I added sides of all squares, so I could make it plural, and thus completely rhyme with bears. Plus, it almost gives a Dr. Seuss style rhyming. Yes, the size of all squares is smart. Tweak pluralizing squares locks in the full rhyme while keeping the inference strong. Every square has four equal sides, so all squares points to four without saying it. The Dr. Seuss vibe is spot on, simple, repetitive, playful rhythm. Slant to full rhyme shift works. Emphasis on 3 to 4 progressive clear. My time is up for tonight. I need to hit the sack. Um, but at least this is more solid. Maybe 2 and 1 will be a bit easier. Thanks. Okay, well, thank you for watching part 3 bonus stream. Thank you for watching part 3 bonus. I will see you the next time. If not tomorrow or Sunday, then Monday for sure.